Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Although next week, it's going to be Mastery Monday. Yeah, I know. I've got to work at my clinic in Tijuana, Mexico, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday down there. So I won't be up here on Tuesday, but we are going to do this on Mondays, which most people are not seeing the live version. The majority of people are getting it on Sunday, and I continually get, why is it True Health Tuesday when it comes out on Sunday? Don't make it so complicated, okay? Okay, today we're going to talk about programming the mind. And one of the reasons is that this was one of the talks that was deleted with the censorship that we currently have. You can't speak about certain things that the powers that be don't. But imagine if you could take charge of your own health and you take charge of your own mind. Why would the mind be involved in health? And I mean, like every kind of thing, like every kind of disease process. Okay, this whole thing, the censored and non-censored portion, will be on the Dr. BVIP Extreme Health Academy. I almost had a chance to do a webinar this weekend, but we had technical difficulties. So when you look at belief systems, because if you look at all of the insanity that we've gone through, and I'm not just talking the last 3 years, okay, I mean the last 30 or 40 years, okay, where people in authority were recommending bad things. I mean, if you have like say Vioxx, great pain reliever, killed more people in the Vietnam War. Nobody went to jail. Now, this was something that went through all the approval processes. And if you're thinking that taking a toxic chemical or a chemical that has a myriad of side effects, that you can develop some change in physiology, like it might lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, lower blood sugar, might make you happy, might make some things work better, some things not work better. Okay, there's all these chemicals that'll alter you, but how do they affect you long term? Now, I know people that are taking chemicals, and this is considered healthcare. Now, if you don't think taking a chemical to alter your physiology without looking at the underlying stressor that's causing that adaptation, if you think addressing the cause would be smarter, then you probably have a challenge with this religion, like the religion of certain things we can't talk about, the religion of medicine. Okay, it's hard to discuss that. And just try and have a discussion like that, parents, okay. Hey, have you talked about the jab? No, I already got the best pediatrician. Stay away, back off. Okay, I'm not even going to think about it. Or when I would tell the adults before the adults were forced injected, I'd say, they're coming for, you guys. Oh, no, over my dead body. Yeah. And then a couple of years in the future, like a couple of years in the past now, yeah, you lose your job or you get the jab. Okay, if you don't like that allopathic model, okay, where there's only one solution, and if you have 10 people with fibromyalgia or 10 people with inflammatory bowel or 10 people with this condition or 10 people with that, they'll get the same therapy. They're not looking at lifestyle or how the body is working or any of that. I mean, it's foolishness. Now, what if we treat each person as an individual, have a vitalistic approach, knowing that the body is intelligent, that there's an innate inborn intelligence in the body, that the body's going to respond correctly, that instead of using toxic chemicals to force the physiologic changes, that we actually change the mind, look at emotional stress, look at physical stress, and look at chemical stress. Well, let's see how this current system is doing. Now, this is an old article. This is 2001, 20 years ago. Now, I know the statistics now, they're kind of hiding them because a lot of the statistics, if you'll see, they're 8, 10, 12 years old. Because if you're running a system like the Center for Disease Promotion, well, whatever they're called, or the fraud and deceptionists, all the letter agencies that we don't elect that are captured by the agencies that they're supposed to be regulated. Okay, it's called regulatory capture. How are they doing? Iatrogenic deaths. These are people that are killed by the medical system. Okay, almost 1 million a year. And this isn't because of some mythical attack that's going through the planet, okay, that's going to affect everyone equally. That didn't really happen. Okay, heart disease, almost 700,000. Cancer, 700,000. Lucian Leap said that 1 million patients nationwide are injured by hospital treatments every year. Last time I checked, there's only about 330 million people. So if you're good at math, that's like a 1 in 300 chance that you're going to get some kind of trauma. Since I don't go to hospitals, that increases anybody's chance here that goes to one. I mean, just think of this, okay? We know that blood pressure, and just I'm talking common sense, okay? We're not getting into the mind and how to control that or how to program that, but your blood pressure is going to be here. Now, if you run upstairs, do you think it's going to go up? Okay, if you're dehydrated, it's going to go up. If you slept good, it's going to go down. So if you're anxious, if you're watching CNN, okay, if you're programmed by CNN and you have the mask and the gloves, okay, you're following the rules, okay, it's going to go up and down. So no matter where it is, if you take a drug like to lower your blood pressure, why? Is anything broken if you can't regulate your own blood pressure? No. Okay, you just happen to be in a stress state. So if you take that chemical to lower it, your arteries are going to constrict, okay, like putting your thumb over a hose, to elevate the blood pressure back up to wherever the heck it was going to be needed. Okay, and now what does that do? Your risk of stroke went up for a third by each blood pressure medication. Okay, well, that makes sense because your arteries are constricting, and if the blood viscosity is too thick or you're under stress, that means that it would happen. Cholesterol levels go up in the summertime, down in the winter. Cholesterol is the most vital substance. We covered this the last couple of weeks. It's 50% of the overall weight of your brain. It's the precursor to every steroid and hormone you make. Okay, it is amazing and complex. And there's only one type of cholesterol, not good or bad. There's only one type of cholesterol. Oh, wait. Giving cholesterol-lowering drugs stimulate hardening of the arteries and heart failure, which is not a problem if you have two hearts. Okay? If you only have one, that's a big problem. You can't let that sucker fail. Then we have drugs that cause mania. I don't mean I'm really happy about it. Okay. No, they're drugs that cause mania. Okay. They're not good for you. Okay. And this is every kind of steroid. Okay. Cyclosporin, I mean, Ritalin, SSRIs. Yeah. If you look at this thing, blood pressure, contraceptives, these things alter the brain. Now, how could they alter the brain? We talked about how a lot of these poisonous chemicals change the mitochondria. And every cell you got in your body, okay, has these little powerhouses, well, except for blood cells, that do all the actions that a cell that goes on in a cell. And I think I heard one time it was like 100,000 different chemical reactions in each cell. And you've got the nucleus in the cell that holds the DNA. And this is like the blueprint of the proteins that cell can produce. Well, when you're looking at all that action in the cell, the mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of the cell, which generate the cell. Without mitochondria, we all die. That mitochondrial DNA is different than what's in the nucleus. Okay, I know. Go on. Wait a second. Just get this. Okay, you have two different types of DNA in your body. One is in the nucleus, and that identifies you. The mitochondria is only from your mom. And your mom's mitochondrial DNA come from her mom. So this, they call it the Eve. Okay, it goes back to Adam and his sweetheart. Okay, well, you're the only two people on the planet. Okay, they maybe have arguments, but you're going to have to get along. Okay, so let's look at this. How important is the mind when it comes to healing, and how important is the mind when it comes to disease? Study in Japan, a leaf kind of like poison ivy or poison oak. They rubbed it on one arm in a group of people that were all going to be allergic to it. Okay, and then they had a fake leaf and they rubbed it on the other arm. 100% of the people in a room developed the rash. Okay, and you're thinking, well, of course, it's what they're allergic to. What they didn't tell the people is they had to switch the leaves. Okay, so they had to suppress a reaction from the one that they're usually getting, and they had to express a reaction on the other arm. And they did that with what? Their mind. Okay, so how can you suppress histamines? How can you do everything? I mean, you've got that old book, it's still in print. Proverbs has a man thinks so he is. That kind of makes sense. If you can express or suppress an allergic reaction with your mind, how far can this go? Okay, here's a study, laying on of hands. And they weren't doing it with any religious significance, but they gave these mice a fatal dose of this cancer, that 100% of the mice are going to die within 14 to 28 days. And all they did was they held them for an hour, a month, an hour a day for a month. Okay. 100% of the rat or mice that this one doctor held recovered. So then they gave it to his assistant. 100% of those mice recovered. Then they gave it to college students. And they said, this is a test for gullibility. I just want you to hold this an hour a day for a month. And so they're even got a bad attitude while they're holding this friggin' mouse. Okay, or rat. 100% of them rats lived. And so how is that? Does our body stop here? Is there more energy coming around? Like when you go into a room, what do you sense from other people? Do you sense sadness or joy? Do you know? I don't know why, but I like that guy, and I don't know why. Have you ever done that? Okay, I know you like him too. But how you just get that feeling, and we're not used to thinking about it. Our initial hope was we might get a significant difference in survival between the experimental animals and the control. Remission wasn't considered serious. So without further treatment, these mice were immune to the mammary adenocarcinoma. We may conclude that apparently we're able to cure mammary adenocarcinoma in experimental mice on demand. I mean, it's mind-blowing that if you think that these experiments, and I'm just talking a couple, there's thousands of experiments that, talking about elevations in blood pressure and tissue healing and everything. Dr. Batman Gunji, water cures, drug kills. Now, he was locked in a prison after the Shah of Iran was kicked out, and he had no drugs, and he had all these rich Iranian businessmen, which, they had the health of the American businessmen, okay, which was a chemical-based healthcare. So everyone's taking blood pressure and cholesterol and antidepressants and antacids and all this other stuff. Well, he doesn't have those drugs. So he writes down specifically what you do for high blood pressure. So he tried an experiment, 4 ounces of water every 2 hours, or 6 ounces or every 8 ounces every 4 hours, experimenting around, because all he had was water. And he thought, well, the body's 70% water. Maybe dehydration could be an issue. And sure enough, all these people that were taking all of these drugs recovered. And so when I talk about that shift of paradigm thinking, this is going to be a major shift when people start to lose that religion of medicine. Okay. And trust me, do you think that your neighbors and friends, I know there's still that one guy that's still masking and gloving, but I'm talking the majority of your neighbors and friends who have a few brain cells still put together. Okay. They see that the system is broken. Okay, well, he found out or said medical doctors and doctors who hold the outdated, ignorant paradigm of disease coming from germs, bad luck, or bad genes will be stunned when they realize what's ahead. They will see the many years of learning and memorizing scientific jargons, all the statistical analysis for justification of the treatment protocols using toxic chemicals and invasive procedures, and the price structure attached to these acquired skills is declared obsolete. They will declare it obsolete. This is a temporary takeover of our planet by the pharmaceutical industry. A temporary. Now, you were endowed by your creator with certain rights that could not be separated from you. I mean, there's some guys a couple hundred years ago put it down in a thing called a constitution to limit the power of the government, because that's what constitutions do. Messages from water. Now, think of this, okay? This guy's got a jar of water from a bunch of jars from the same source. He exposes one to rock music, one to classic music, and sees a difference. And you might say, well, yeah, it's vibrating different. It's going to affect that. So when you form the crystals in the water, it'll do it. Okay, I totally get that. Then he placed thoughts on one, prayer on one, hate on another. Totally different crystal formation. And then they did meditation experiments where they had a group of professional meditators, people that practice it all the time in Japan, focusing in on something. I think it was a jar in San Jose, focusing positive energy there. So you're talking 10,000 miles. What they didn't tell this group is that there was another jar in San Diego, several hundred miles away, that for the sample, and they found a totally different crystal formation. So if thought can change that, and your body is 70% water, do your thoughts matter in health? Yes or yes? Yeah, I'm going to make it easy. I'm giving one choice. Okay. I like open book tests too. Okay. I actually really love taking tests. I mean, that's like my thing. Okay, so how are you feeding your mind? I mean, remember the old Native American saying where every person has two wolves fighting for their soul, one evil, one good. Okay, which one wins? The one you feed. Okay, and this is important. So if you're watching Beverly Hills Housewives, or you're watching all these drama shows where there's arguments over, you wore my shoes and I was going to wear those shoes, and it's just really, oh damn it, why do you say that pronoun to me? Okay, that's not how I'm identifying. Okay, I mean, it's just like your words are going to really make that big of a difference to me. Okay, so what are you spending your time with? What do you value? Okay, now obviously CNN, they're losing readership. Okay, now this is not a confession, but I do subscribe to the LA Times. Do you want to know why? Because I want to see how incredibly stupid people think. Okay, I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, my God, you guys are completely insane. They're talking about how the massive amount of homeless people, we're trying to find homes for them, and it's hard. Not we're destroying the economy, these people's lives. They're not looking at any infrastructure. They're seeing the tent, maybe they want to get them sleeping bags or something. Okay, Google, totally censored. YouTube, Facebook, all of that stuff. What about going on the high wire? Okay, good data and research. I love the high wire. It comes out every Thursday. Children's Health Defense. I'm going to be on this Friday, okay, on Dr. Tony's show, or Dr. BVIP. We're trying to keep this stuff censored. So what do? I mean, if you consciously choose what goes in your mind, or you're always going through that cell phone to scroll through and see the TikTok or the cat throwing up, or the anger or this thing. I mean, that you got to watch what you put, because I mean, what you think about, you bring about. Okay, if you have a brain that's in a constant state of always scrolling through, always looking for this, always looking for that next stress, okay, your brain is going to fire along those patterns. And I love this. Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds. And that's true. How many times I've got friends that they're always in debt, or they're always having problems with family, or they're always doing this, and they're always asking for help and advice. And if somebody is digging a hole and they want to get out of the hole, what do you tell them? Stop digging. Brilliant. Okay, I picked on one of the smart guys. Okay, I knew it. I know it seems like basic common sense. Okay, yeah, if you're in a hole and you want to get out, stop friggin' digging the damn hole. Okay, so first let's change your perspective, because it is not what's actually happening, it's your perception of it. And in our world, judgment is everything. This is why people were walking around like this for 2 years. Hell, they're still walking around like that. Okay, if you judge, imagine you have a top. Okay, everything horrible, bad on one side, everything beautiful, good on this side. Now, aside from God and the devil, okay, look at other people. Nobody is 100% evil. No one is 100% good. Okay. And this is every situation. Wisdom is when you can see both sides at once. So the judgments that you have on this, how awful that is, how bad that is. And let's just take, somebody walking around like this, okay? You might think, okay, they're being controlled. They're not following their own mindset. They're not looking at the data or the research. They're part of the conformists. This is bringing down America. Okay, so you can put a face covering has devastating for all of society in the world. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with the adults in here because when you were kids, do you know what your mom thought? Okay. You didn't clean your room last night. Do you know what that means? Okay. I know. He's your dad. Okay. He didn't clean his room. But do you know what that means? When he's when he's a teenager, that means he's disorganized. If he's disorganized, he's not going to be successful in life. If he's not successful in life, he's going to be doing drugs underneath an overpass. Okay, clean your room. No, this is how screwed up parents think. Okay, they take a little thing and they blow it to a huge thing that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like, why are you getting upset? I just left the pizza box underneath there for a week. So you got to get used at spinning the top, okay, to see both sides at once. That'll give you balanced perspective. Your self-talk, how you talk to yourself is hugely important. And this is, are you kind to yourself? Do you give yourself a break? Typically not, and because when we were kids, we were taught, don't do that, put that down, stop running with the scissors, And so talking to ourselves, our self-talk is, I love this one. Be careful how you're talking to yourself because you were listening. I mean, it's true. Now, the way the brain works, you have thoughts and feelings. I'm talking about being conscious of what you're putting in your brain. Absolutely conscious. If you are, you're going to have different thoughts and feelings. Okay? Understand that those thoughts and feelings are going to make the brain fire in a certain pattern. That's going to create certain chemicals, and that's going to create a certain body experience. So if you're thinking sympathetic, surprised, stimulated, vibrant, amused, satisfied, warm, delighted, these are words of people that have their needs met that are in a safe place. Now, I just love her picture. I would go out with her in a hot minute, out to lunch, find out what her life is like. It's like one of my patients, and I got a bunch of patients that are late 80s, early 90s, a couple in the hundreds. And when I get somebody, this one gal at our clinic in Thailand, she's over 90, and I said, what do you remember about your life? And here she's very successful, tons of kids. She remembered when she was 12 years old, and the Japanese had taken over Thailand, and the Americans were bombing Thailand, and she was holed up in a cave with her family near Pattaya, and she was sent out to get water, and they made it through this filter. That's what this 94, think of the life. Okay? I just think that's cool. It's just like, oh my God, you've been on the planet longer. What can I learn from you? It's now this is a nasty person. I would not want to go out to dinner with her. Okay, but listen to these words: suspicious, repulsed, edgy, fidgety, worried, bewildered, irritated, aggravated, heartbroken, overwhelmed. Those are words that lead to that anger. But remember, thoughts and feelings lead to the neuronal firing, lead to the chemicals produced by your own brain to adapt to that environment, and that changes your body. It literally changes the blood supply to the heart. It changes hormonal production, changes everything. Now, neuro-linguistic programming, I'm a big fan of. Why? Because you don't have to BS yourself, okay? Affirmations, you could be feeling tired and sore and beat up, okay, and you're going, yeah, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm vibrant. When you don't feel it. This one, you don't have to. It's just repetition because that's how the frontal lobe learns. Okay, the frontal lobe learns through body posture. Why? Because this changes the influence to the cerebellum. Breathing. Why? That little 2-pound brain burns 90% of the body's oxygen. Volume and intonation is going to imprint it, and you do it through repetition. So it's literally, I am healthy, I am dynamic, I am vibrant, I'm strong, I'm healed. And if you've ever read the Bible, Torah, or the Quran, at the start of all of them, Moses is on this mountain. Bush is on fire, gives him great information. He says, Bush, what do I call you? What does the bush say? I am that I am. You don't appreciate this because that was Charlton Heston. You're too young. But that was near perfect. Okay. So it's the I am is also called the Moses Code. Okay. It's fantastic. So it's literally, I'm healthy, I'm dynamic, I am vibrant, I am strong, I am healed. But now here's the bummer. All thoughts fall like dominoes. When was the last time you were driving to somewhere, maybe you're just listening to the car and you're thinking about, okay, that person where I'm going to, we had a big challenge. We're going to have this or this. Okay, when you're driving to work, okay, I got to do this and this and this and this and this person. Those thoughts will suck you into the pit of hell. You master your emotions, you change your physiology. Think of the guys that meditate. They could raise or lower their blood pressure. They could hold their breath for crazy amounts of time. You master your emotions, you change your physiology. This is where thoughts change that neuronal firing, change the chemicals, change that. Neuro-linguistic programming. I am healthy, I'm dynamic. I do this every day. Okay, this morning when I'm on my way here, okay, I'm thinking about, oh shoot, I'm in the same firing pattern. Okay, I am healthy, I'm dynamic, I'm vibrant, I'm connected to the healing source of energy. God's love flows from God through me into my patients. 100% of the people I touch receive that healing energy over and over and over. I get out of that truck, I'm vibrating at a completely different level. Problems will bounce off of me like water off a duck. And this is it. Learning and repetition is reprogramming. I cannot let my emotions happen by chance. I cannot do that. Okay, the people that I'm with, you have to, if you know that your emotions are in, you're the one in charge of your emotions. You can't say something unless you call me she, her. You're right. I don't look like it. No, I mean that's ridiculous. Remember the old days, sticks and stone would break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Or how about the other one? Okay, the real man one. I totally disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to my death your right to say that. Okay, that was, I know you can't tell that to the people today. Okay, but think of that. Okay, that freedom of speech was that important. So knowing that you can reprogram your own brain, okay, using neuro-linguistic programming, knowing that you have a responsibility for your own thoughts, is that important? Absolutely. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. Absolutely. Now, this is some of the things that I recommend. I mean, daily prayer, meditation, affirmations, the I am statements, emotional freedom techniques, good. The DeMartini method is the breakthrough process is amazing. I've gone to about, I think, 8 seminars of his. Incredible. Now, listening beyond the words. And this is nonviolent communication. Marshall Rosenberg, who developed this, a lot of his stuff is still on, okay, and I totally recommend because it is just a beautiful, brilliant way to look at life. Everyone is trying to make life more wonderful. So you see that parent in the store, Tabs, put that down, okay, to their kid. Have you ever seen that? Okay, my insides turn handsprings. It's like, don't teach a kid by hitting him. I know. So I want to go up and punch the parent. Okay, I know. That's mental. That's messed up. Okay, you can't do that. But so then you have that initial response of, man, that's really not a good way to teach children. But this is the only method that they feel, that they found. So the nonviolent communication, I encourage you to get involved in this so you can learn it because it helps you think about others in a different way. You're not going to change their action, but if you change your perception of that action, you change the outcome. Okay, let me say that again. You cannot change another person's action. Because I told this to a friend and said, nonviolent communication helps you listen beyond the words. You're going to have a better connection. One of the things here, if you're talking to someone and you feel frustrated, unheard, disrespected, that person you're talking to feels frustrated, unheard, and disrespected. Okay, so you get in touch with your own feelings. You're going to think, boy, I'm sorry, I'm such a prick. Okay, I'm not communicating with you. Okay, So this way, that's going to be important. Observation, feelings, needs, and requests, but observing without judgment. That's the key. Observation is exactly what's going on. Like if you say, you never call. Okay, what did I just say? I need more of a connection with you. I'm saying please. Okay, where if she only heard that that you never call. Well, yes, I do. I called yesterday. Well, that's not what I wanted to communicate to you. So why are you responding with stupid stuff? I'm saying I need a connection with you. You know what I mean? Okay, we talk with our patients, in the doctor's training. If someone's had like 3 different surgeries, they just finished a couple of rounds of chemo last year, they got 2 metal braces in their back, and they come in on the morning after their first adjustment, and they say, I still hurt. Okay, most of the doctors would say, yeah, give us a friggin' week, you're going to be fine. Okay, but what is he really saying? He's not saying, I still hurt. He's saying, I'm so scared. I trusted these surgeons and it didn't work. I trusted these doctors and I took drugs and that got me sick. This is my last hope. I just want to be able to play with my dog and my kids, and probably in that order. Yeah, I know. So the judgment is the tough part. I mean, you get the psychotic world that we're in now where they're saying, look, you said the wrong pronoun. Okay, and that's a violent act. What? Listen beyond the words. No one's purposely trying to say this to you to just, look, you got blue hair, you got a long nose, you dress funny and weird, you know, th- all of those things you could take as an insult, or you could say, yeah, you obviously don't have any fashion sense. Blue hair is really cool. And I like this. Okay. It's a tuckable shirt. Okay. So observation without judgment is the key, but that's one of the hardest things. So to observe, not that you never call, but that I needed a better connection. Okay, I mean it's huge. That's why I encourage you to get these books and look at the thing, because I can't explain it good enough here. Feelings, most important thing ever. Okay, when you express your feelings from your heart, and these are needs that are tough and challenging, because I mean, men, we want to disassociate from our feelings. This is why so many guys polish their cars or work in the garden or work on the boat. Okay, because I'm going to get validation immediately after I polish that friggin' thing all damn day. My buddies are going to come by and say, damn, you worked hard on that. Yeah, I did. And no one talked to me all day. It was wonderful. But, if you're having trouble understanding people when they're saying, you used the wrong pronoun, okay? Are you feeling disrespected or sad that I misrepresented who you're identifying with? That and that would be a better connection, but people are so devoid of communicating correctly or with a heart-to-heart connection, they just want to fight violently. And that's no way to end this psychosis. These are feelings when your needs are met: enthusiastic, fulfilled, connected. These are feelings when they're not met. Okay, so if you can just identify, and that's what our handout is. Now, I actually use these lists from nonviolent communication for the I am exercise. Okay, because these are feelings, the ones down here, and this is our handout. These are feelings of needs not being met on the bottom, feelings of needs being met at the top. Okay, so you can identify the feelings. Are you feeling hopeless, anxious, apprehensive, uninterested? Okay, now when needs are, they're required to experience life from a fullness. If your needs are not met, and the needs of meaning, autonomy, connection, play, peace, if you just look at this, and it's so hard in our society to express, the courage to say, I really need a connection with you. I really want to just play. I just want to have fun. I'm feeling all discombobulated. Okay, I need some peace in my world. Okay, it's when you're able to identify those and you can connect with it, then you can change your brain and then you can start doing it. Now, request versus demand. Remember, observations, feelings, needs, and request. So if you're connecting with someone that you don't have a real good rapport with, okay, if you request, and I use the story of my son with the garbage, he hated taking out the garbage, and I needed help around the house. So what did I do? I put every kind of label on him, lazy. He wasn't lazy at all. And he just didn't like doing the garbage. And I didn't understand that because I take the garbage out all the time. Go on, ask me if I like doing it. No, I freaking hate it. It stinks. It's gross. Okay. But he went in and decided, he said, Dad, I will help you out. I'll pick up all the dog poop. And that means that you got to pick it up. You got to hose it off while you're hosing it off. You got to water the yard, an hour and a half worth of work, but he didn't want to take the trash out. So, would you take the trash out? No, no, Dad, I hate doing that. Okay. Is there something else you would rather do? Yeah, it's amazing. Now, all blame is an unmet need. So when somebody with that's flipping out with something that you might not understand, and I'm just bringing up the pronoun because I think that's just absolutely ridiculous that they're changing language. But it's an unmet need. So they need some kind of validation for whatever thing that they're identifying with. It's kind of similar that you'd wear a baseball uniform because you want to identify as a baseball player. Okay, it's hard in nowadays times to find out what do you identify. I don't know. Girl, guy, or other. Okay, and that we have been training like this for thousands of years, and we need to change it to develop a connection. You develop connection with your kids. I just did it this past Sunday with my youngest boy and his birthday. My oldest son's coming out in a week, thank God. I haven't seen him in like 3 years. But giving advice, it's a violation if you don't ask permission. So, I have some different information on that mask or that medical procedure or this or that. Would you be interested? So you got to ask permission. Okay. And yeah. So by mastering your mind, by not being affected by insanity, okay, and that is a judgment. Although when somebody says that men can give birth, that's insanity. That guy over there has got an X and a Y chromosome, and so do you, and you don't have that there, Missy. Oh, wait, I just used a pronoun. You can hit me with your car later. Okay, just mastering your mind, and here's a couple of techniques: the nonviolent communication, the neuro-linguistic programming. But imagine this as a new healthcare model, that there's an innate inborn intelligence, that health is the natural state of the body. Okay, all therapies must be in harmony with functions of the body. So you don't remove parts without figuring out why those parts had a problem. Censorship, well, I can't say what this is, but imagine a forced medical procedure without informed consent that you need to get in order to go to school or work. No, 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 no. That's not Germany 1936. Okay, this is America 2020, actually, way back to 2006. Okay, it's like 15 years now. So that forced medical procedure will stop until independent research is completed. Medical schools won't be funded by the pharmaceutical industry. They'll actually have independent studies. All healthcare research will be independent. Pharmaceutical industry will be financially and morally responsible for their products, just like Ford or Toyota. Few Toyotas kill people, then there's a recall. And all humans will be able to choose any healthcare procedure. None will be forced on them. Boy, that makes sense, unless you don't like it. Okay, so when we talk about the 5 keys to health, nerve supply, exercise, nutrition, rest, and prayer and meditation, this falls in that meditation where you're mastering your brain. Oh, now we're getting into the dangerous part. Okay, I almost did that because that's, I think, one of the slides that got this talk destroyed before by the censorship. So next week we're not going to be on Tuesday. In fact, through September we're going to be on Mondays. Okay, so live Monday on YouTube and Facebook. I'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time, different bat day.